Hello and welcome back to another edition of Book Reviews and Lessons. For those of you new to the channel, this is where I read a book, educational or otherwise, and do a review on it, as well as pull some of the lessons I was able to get out of the book. This edition is Ask for More, 10 Questions to Negotiate Anything by Alexandra Carter. So this is a self-help book for professionals or people with their own business or just in daily life to help you negotiate for whatever you want. I thought the book was really good. I thought it was helpful, and I am trying to improve my discussion and negotiation skills in my day-to-day life despite not being a white-collar professional yet. Right off the bat, one of the first things that Alexandra writes in the book is that negotiations don't have to be forcefully taking or demanding. They can be a lot of questions and a lot of asking, hence the name of the book, 10 Questions to Negotiate Anything. So in the first part of the book, she talks a lot about looking in the mirror and almost negotiating with yourself and talking to yourself and asking yourself questions. You want to take a lot of the time up front to ask yourself questions, figure out what you want, figure out what you need, and figure out why you want it. Or in the way that it was phrased, is asking questions like, what's driving me to want this, instead of maybe why questions. And taking that time up front can really help you in the negotiation later. A lot of what it's about is defining where you want to be, not necessarily what you want to avoid. She uses the metaphor steering a kayak through a rocky cave. Where you want to be on the kayak, you want to get through the cave. But if you focus too much on the rocks you want to avoid in the cave, you'll run into the rocks. Or if you focus too much on not wanting to paddle the kayak, you won't paddle the kayak. You also have to take into time that everyone wants to be heard. You yourself want to be heard going into the negotiation. So you want to make sure that you feel autonomous going into the negotiation, that you feel that way, and that the other party feels that way. So you have to take the time to think about how you want to ask questions to make sure they feel that way. If you can understand your own personal why or what's driving you, coming up with the how you want to get there becomes significantly easier, according to this book. She talks about asking yourself how you want to get to whatever it is you want, and to really break down the why you want it. That way you know what it is you're going after. So you want a raise. Well, your why for wanting a raise might be, I want to be able to buy nicer things. I want to enjoy my life more. Someone else's desire for the raise might be that they want to be able to put more money towards a child's college fund or purchase things for their newborn. The what is the same, but the why is different. So you want to really spend the time to ask yourself why and then how. Now the how might come before the why, but you need to focus on it. You also need to understand your previous successful negotiations. So ask yourself, where have I been successful in negotiations similar to this, or just in negotiations in the past if you don't have one similar. Say, as an example given in the book, working with a contractor. You can't agree on a price, but you've worked with this contractor before. Well, what have you done with this contractor before that's worked? What kind of negotiations have gone on? What were the previous contracts like? You also have to account for feelings. So you have to figure out and ask yourself what you're feeling going into the negotiation. Understand about your own feelings and consider the other party's feelings. Then she talks a lot about the negotiation itself with the other person and how to make the other person feel heard, feel seen, and be able to find a good, beneficial agreement for both parties. So what you want to maybe do is think about the feelings of the other party. Truly listen to them and understand what the other party is saying. If you can't figure out a great step, you can also go, what's the worst thing I can do right now? She used an example of a lady was negotiating with a company. She was miserable at her current job, but she negotiated with another company and they just couldn't quite meet her payroll, so she thought about, well, what's the worst thing? What will make me upset in the long run? What will make me suffer in the long run? Well, she determined staying where she was the worst option. So she went, okay, well, the better option is to take the job at this company that will make me feel fulfilled with my life, even though they might not have the money for me. You can also use a lot of tell me questions. So using tell me questions really open up the conversation. They're very open-ended, but you have to be able to do what is called landing the plane. So you want to ask the question, go silent. Just be comfortable with the silence, ask the question, give them the time to think about what they want. So you just sit there, try not to stare at them really awkwardly, but don't force your own ideas onto them in the negotiation. Let them answer your question, let them think about it and provide the answer themselves. If maybe an answer doesn't come up, you can go, how did you successfully do blank, or how did you successfully solve blank? That way you're providing something where it's like, hey, I know you've done something positive in the past in a situation like this or close to this, so that they can relate a positive feeling and answer the question. Maybe after that you can ask, what are you concerned with? What issues do you see coming up with what we're talking about right now? You can also ask, okay, well, what's the first step towards this? Why don't we discuss the first step we can take towards a solution? And that way you both have kind of that little, okay, well, we can do this, or, oh, we can do that. Or if they look at you and go, I have absolutely no idea, what do you suggest? Now you can put in your suggestions. They might ask you what the first step is and you can answer. You also want to make sure you come up with multiple ideas, because while not every idea is great, every great idea was an idea. It started out as just someone throwing an idea out there. Kind of that, like the old adage, not all people who work hard will be rewarded, but everyone who is rewarded worked hard. Not every idea will be great, but every great idea is just an idea. You also have to consider the adversaries in negotiations may become your partner. So like if you're trying to negotiate with your girlfriend, that's something I do a lot. Her and I have conversations where we negotiate pretty often. You have to consider, well, after this talk, I'm still going to be dating. Still going to be dating her. I have to be conscious of that throughout the entire negotiation. Be respectful, and I'm trying to make sure I do that, so when her and I do have the conversations, we both stay respectful with it, because we're still going to be dating afterwards. And asking your boss for a raise, you get the raise, it's still your boss. You still want to have a good working relationship. You're doing a business deal with someone and you're trying to get more money out of it. Well, now they're your business partner, even if you get the more money out of it. So you don't want to like strip them dry, because they're your business partner and you want to continue doing business with them. You have to be very considerate. I found this book to really help me because I hadn't considered a lot of the questions and a lot of the ways to look at negotiations like this book presented to me. And my girlfriend actually got this book because she had seen Alexandra Carter speak live at an event for her job. And I was like, okay, well, let me read the book. Since you found her so interesting and wanted to buy her book, let me go ahead and read it. And I find it to be very helpful, and I understand why my girlfriend gravitated towards it, and we've actually been able to have a lot better talks about stuff that we want to negotiate since I read the book, and I find that to be very helpful. So it's a good book. 10 out of 10. Yeah, would really recommend it to any professional or someone just looking to get better at negotiating or having conversations with people. And that's it for this one. If you liked the video, send a like. If you want to have me read a particular book, leave a comment down below. Thank you.